did you always have the desire to get into this business, or was it something that, you saw how everything worked and you're like, "Nah, that's not gonna be for me."
Absolutely. No, that's a great question. So I always had an interest in real estate. I was always around it, whether it was, just riding in the car with dad and him talking over the speaker in the car on work calls, or actually starting when we were about 15, I think I did my first open house with them. And it was just, hey, we have too many houses to hold open. We don't have enough agents to do open houses this weekend. So my now wife, girlfriend at the time, me, and one of my childhood friends, we spent quite a few weekends hosting open houses at 15 years old. It was a really cool little part-time job then. In the house, people walk in, they're like, "Why is there a kid here?" And I'm like, "Hey, I can answer any of your questions, but if you want to talk numbers, you gotta call the boss."
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
did that. Was always helping out dad off and on growing up, but when it kind of got to end of high school and figuring out what was next, I was like, "Dad, I'm not doing real estate. No way, no way." My passion at the time, and still is a passion of mine, was education. I loved coaching youth sports, so naturally I went into special education in college. Didn't last very long, but so I was excited going to school. I got through about a semester. Simultaneously with that, dad did have me get my real estate license. He got me 1 week after high school graduation to start classes. I started I was like, it'll be a cool part-time gig while going to school. I can help dad out a little. I was going to school locally in Lancaster, going to play some baseball at OUL, and got licensed, started school, had clients, skipped class, had a closing, and quickly was, hey, dad, I want to, do real estate. I don't want to do school and then teach and then have it's the same job every single day. And
Yeah.
before that, of course, he's been in real estate forever. And then it was like, okay, well, you got to talk to mom.
Was it school just no longer interested you, or the subject didn't, or was it simply that you saw what you could potentially earn for yourself? Obviously, you kind of saw it with your dad, right? Doing appraisals and then
Sure.
selling and his clients, but it's not the same. I always tell people, like, especially their first commission check, right? I'm usually like, hey, that first commission check hits differently, right, than what you're used to,
Oh,
or
yeah.
just the financial side of it that really intrigued you, and you started to see what that potential could be.
Absolutely. So it was kind of a combination of things, right? So all throughout high school, I spent a lot of time coaching youth sports, coached upward basketball where I had a special needs child on my team. He had actually like 50 times the 3-point shooter I am. But so I loved it, wanted to do that. Spent some time at the local library here in Wagnalls that I currently chair the board, reading there to elementary age kids. Then I got, into a couple months of the first semester and I was like, wow, this is like really, really regulated. And it's not just go teach the kids, it's do all of these things. And I was like, I don't necessarily agree with all these things. So that was like, kind of like, this isn't how I envisioned it going.
Yeah.
Um, and then, combine that with, I closed one closing during the fall semester there, my freshman year. Um, Prior to the closing, all the time it was, do I go to this lecture? Do I do this showing that they want to see? And 9 out of 10 times the showing was what I picked.
Yeah.
When I had
No.
that closing and I was like, that is like more than a month of what my projected salary is after college. This could be really cool. I could have some time freedom. I could create financial freedom. And I was like, I owe it to myself to try.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
told dad, as I was saying, he was pumped. He was like, I told you this is what you're going to want to do. I hate when you're right. Uh, and
but
then,
but you had a little bit different of a unique, college. You also were going there to play ball too, right?
yes,
I
that
mean,
was honestly, if I wasn't planning on playing baseball there, I probably would have dropped out sooner.
yeah. Yeah.
It was cool. There was multiple guys on the team because OUL Lancaster, it's right by where I graduated. There was multiple guys on the team that were upperclassmen when I was coming into high school. I made some good friends there. Practices were going really good. Coach was happy. Looked like I was going to be starting in the middle of the lineup. I was like, this is perfect. But yeah, school was not for me.
So when you got in, I'm always intrigued, especially with you being so young getting into the business, I would say on the younger side of the people that typically get into our business. Supporters, doubters, I mean, you're going basically from, hey, going down this path of going to school, getting a degree, going into teaching and education, to scratch that plan. Actually, I'm going to go do 100% commission based business.
Mm.
Obviously, I'm sure you had the huge support of your dad, obviously being in the business, but you said you had to run it by mom, but also like just in general, like did you have more love, or did you have quite a few people like questioning what the hell you're doing?
Absolutely. There was plenty of love, especially from my immediate family. I mean, I had all the support in the world. Mom was super supportive. She did want to, I remember actually we had like a formal sit down dinner. I took mom out to dinner and I had like a little presentation prepared on, mom, this is why real estate is going to work for me. And after that dinner, the drive home, she's like, yep, this is going to be perfect. You're going to be great. Um, there were a couple distant family members that I wouldn't say that they were, hating on it, but hey, like just because dad does it, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Like, well, I know. And then there was one particular, still one of my best friends, his girlfriend at the time we were all hanging out and I want to do that. That sounds fun. Like I want to drop out of school. And she was like, that is the stupidest thing. I can't believe he's doing that, blah, blah, blah. And um, it worked out just fine.
Yeah, the rest is history, right?
Yes,